I'd like to start by saying that you have done a stellar job, you and your firm, Jay. You've been professional, and I want to thank our employees for being involved in the process, and all the people that we interviewed and the tours that we did. Everyone is serving their communities. Some were quadriplegic, some were elderly people in nursing homes. They were all doing their job. So I can't speak ill of anyone. And that being said, I went back to a commissioner's manual that is issued by the state of Pennsylvania to review what the county's duties are in relation to nursing homes. And I put together a page of information, and I'd just like to read to you what the scope of our duties are when it comes to the elderly, etc. The consumers for whom counties provide services fall into two broad categories. The first encompasses those persons whose chronic illness or condition requires assistance with activities of daily living for a lengthy period of time, periods for the rest of their lives in some instances. This category of services is called long-term care and provides services for persons with mental retardation, older persons who live at home or in nursing homes, and persons with mental or substance abuse problems. The second category consists of children who are neglected, abused, or delinquent. The legal basis for this, according to the Commissioner's Manual, is the County Code and the Public Welfare Code, and this includes nursing home care. There's a myriad of laws and regulations and agencies at the state and federal levels that review licenses nearly every aspect of the nursing home operation. Although the county government's role in long-term care has been traditionally perceived to be the county nursing home, the actual scope of services provided can be much broader. Area agencies on aging provide a whole range of in-home services like Meals on Wheels, homemaker services, home health, and the like. They provide options to people who would otherwise go into nursing homes. This also would include congregate meals, daycare, and protective services. The funding for county nursing homes is made up mostly of Medicaid funds. I'd also like to point out that one of my observations over the years is that approximately 80% of the people who are in nursing homes, at least in Cedar Haven, are women. I think that's probably because they outlive their male counterparts. And so I really feel that all my upbringing and all my training as a county commissioner has been to take care of these women who I feel are our mothers, our grandmothers. And I take this duty very seriously. And it saddens me to know that in my 15th year as a county commissioner, this care and love that our staff provide to those residents and the faith that they put in us all these years may come to an end. I was especially moved at the last interview we went to when we visited a nursing home, and the CEO in his opening remarks said something to the following: "You have a great facility," meaning Cedar Haven. "You are providing the care. You are just not getting paid for it." That's how he opened his presentation. He also said, "Happy employees make happy residents." And a little bit later, another gentleman on his team said, "Focus on the residents to provide the care, and the dollars will follow." I thought, amen. And I know that CHR was instrumental in reviewing our books and our operation at Cedar Haven, and they came up with $4.5 million in savings. They also said that this is preliminary. They can do more. Their faith in what they could do helped them to bid $25 million for this facility. They were one of the top three. So my question and my logic and my challenge to my colleagues would be, if they can do that, why can't we do this ourselves with them as our consultants in managing CHR? To me, this is the most compassionate, most logical course we can take and still carry out our duties as county commissioners. Cedar Haven is an asset, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's not too late to change back to operating Cedar Haven and not sell it. It's a misnomer that taxes would have to increase in order to retain Cedar Haven. I have a whole other presentation I can go into if necessary, but it is the truth. We can do this. I know that our Indians ancestors, who originally were the first Americans, planned 7 generations ahead. If we look out 10, 20, 140 years, we need to have some sort of a home for our poorer residents to reside. And I think that that ownership is best kept in county ownership.
This is Kathy Otto from Cedar, from Complete Healthcare Resources.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you? I'm Kathleen Otto. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Complete Healthcare Resources. I've worked for Complete Healthcare Resources for 20 years. We are excited and feel privileged that the commissioners would consider Complete Healthcare Resources to continue your mission at Cedar Haven. We will operate your facility with professionalism and care. We will not have disruption to the residents. We will work hand in hand with your current employees, and we want to continue to be an integral part of this community. We bring to the residents, the families, the employees, and to the community our belief in operating your facility with compassion, commitment, and communication. We are committed to all of our facilities, and we believe that our commitment will meet the mission and values established by Lebanon County. We've also committed to an initial and ongoing capital improvement investment into Cedar Haven to provide updates and continue the quality environment for the residents and employees. We are looking forward to a long-term partnership with the community and are excited to be part of the future of Cedar Haven.
Would you like to introduce the rest of your staff?
Lucy Deckelbaugh, she's our Vice President of Business Development, and Regional Vice President Ed Valiant, who actually lives in this community and will be assigned to oversee the facility and work with the staff at Cedar Haven.
Who traveled with us to the 3 nursing homes, and if you would like to stand and introduce yourselves.
I'm Marcia Krause, the Acting Administrator.
My name is Deb Light, and I'm the Director of Nursing.
I'm Bob Sauerwein. I work in housekeeping, and I'm also the union president.
We didn't one day decide that we're going to sell the nursing home, and that should be put to rest. That's not the way this process happened. And everyone who is a stakeholder in this at one point or another had an opportunity to be involved, to come to our meetings, to speak out. We reached out to the community. We reached out to the residents and the employees and the families of the nursing home and the residents of this county. There's never been anything done undercover. It's all been very open as possible in a situation where we have companies bidding against one another. Yes, we asked CHR to come in and do an analysis and tell us how we could maintain this nursing home. And I think our chairman left out a few details that were presented at that meeting. One was initially, these folks, if they were to come in and operate it as a county home, which is not funded to the level that private homes are funded, unfortunately, one of the first major steps that they would take was to lay off 53 employees at Cedar Haven. Now, we have employees of Cedar Haven with us today. And if we ask them the question, would you like to have this home maintained under county ownership, which really offers no advantage other than the emotional side of things, and that this is a place that we have been entrusted, based on Commissioner Litz, by William Penn to do forever into the future, and I do not believe that to be the case. That we have a responsibility, yes, to provide for the folks that need that care, and this option will do that, and it will be funded by the Medicaid program for those folks that are unable to self-pay. But if we ask the question of the employees at Cedar Haven, would you rather have this home continue under county ownership and have a chance that 53 of you are going to lose your jobs Monday morning? Or would you like to have it operate under this company and you folks, and it certainly isn't all the employees at Cedar Haven, but a representative group of folks, we took you along and made you part of this process, and I know I myself valued your opinion. I think you will attest to that. So really, what would your choice be? To operate it as a county facility and take the risk that Monday you won't have a job? Or would you like to see it operated by a responsible private company that has told you that there will not be layoffs under their ownership, and that they've talked about the capital investment that they will make going forward in the next 4 years, and I'll leave them to expose that publicly, numbers that we could never possibly do as a county entity. And we visited nursing homes, nursing facilities, and the one that these folks own is Conestoga View in Lancaster County, and they added, since their ownership in I think 2004, is that right? They added a rehab wing with a hot tub and a cafe and just incredible things. It's an amazing facility. Very similar to Cedar Haven in the actual decor and the design and the architecture and so on, and that charm is still there, but with all these added amenities. So it's a wonderful choice. Cedar Haven will continue into the future. It will be a better facility, provide more quality care, continue that same quality care to our residents. I think afford more opportunity to the employees, and it will lessen the burden of the taxpayers in the community. Commissioner Litz, I hear her every day say, I'm concerned about fairness. This isn't fair. That's not fair. This isn't fair. I contend, Commissioner Litz, that it would not be fair to deny the residents of this county, the employees of Cedar Haven, the residents of Cedar Haven, and their families this.
Top bid was $27 million, so that should answer that question. The 53 jobs that would be lost, according to Commissioner Ames's recollection, I also was present at that meeting and was told that the majority of those would not be out-and-out layoffs because many people will choose to retire, others will choose to move on with their lives. There's a natural process, and through attrition, jobs would not be filled. And I think that that will still be the case. There might not be an out-and-out layoff, but as people move out of their positions, positions may not be filled. I don't think it's any different whether it's kept or sold. Next, the pension. This is the part that I didn't go into previously, but we do have a maturing workforce, which means more and more people are entering our retirement system, including those who choose to retire, whether we keep or sell Cedar Haven. At $109 million, we are at the highest funding of our pension in our history. We have fewer people paying into the fund if we sell, so that will certainly not help the bottom line. Retirees sometimes pull their money out, which will not help the bottom line. The stock market right now seems to be fairly stable, but if it would drop, that would hurt us. But we also have low interest rates, so money invested in cash is not drawing a large amount of money. We've had a conservative actuary, and there are some things we've done to try and right that, and budgeted contributions in the past were not made. So that's how we got to the point where we are. But that $4.5 million savings, the study that was done by CHR, would pay Cedar Haven's pension contributions, whether it's us or CHR under ownership, into the future. There will be concessions that are necessary with the unions. Either way, it doesn't change that. Lebanon County has the lowest debt rate of our neighbors at $216 per capita. Berks County's at $522, Dauphin at $588, Lancaster at $503, York at $763 per capita. Lackawanna, $1,139, Chester, $1,282. We are not in bad financial shape. If we wanted to, and I'm not recommending this by any means, that money could be borrowed and the pension could be totally funded. But that's not necessary. Some of the steps that we've taken to write our pension include we met with the portfolio manager, the actuary, and the CPA, looking for answers, but there was no conclusion, no consensus. So we dropped from 5 to 3%, saving $80,000 per point, and reducing the raise projections, which were, with the actuary, were very high, the conservative part I was talking about. We took away the COLA, $700,000 in savings. We lowered the interest rate paid on the pension from 5.5% to 4.5%. 4% is the lowest. We stopped the $500 medical supplement that we were paying, and we started making contributions to the plan. We have been working on righting this situation. So right now we have $1.5 million in our budget for Cedar Haven. That $1.5 million over the next 7 to 8 years could completely pay off Cedar Haven's pension obligation that we have not funded in the past. If we do that, we will be at a wonderful funding ratio for the entire county. Now, whether or not the other part of the pension is paid, we're talking about taking care of Cedar Haven's portion. It wouldn't be today when this transaction potentially would take place, but it would be within a reasonable amount of time. It is doable. Anything worth doing is worth fighting for. And I beg of you, please reconsider and retain ownership of Cedar Haven. I think it's important to all of us, the entire community, the residents, their families, our employees, and the county, so that generations to come, it doesn't matter if you have money or not, you will be taken care of at a county-owned home. Martin.
The first sale price I heard was $25 million. Then I heard $27 million.
Yes.
Who's right?
$25 million is what CHR has offered. $27 million was the top bidder's price.
That's still not right.
So the top bidder didn't get that.
25.5 is what they have offered.
Okay,
The top bidder didn't get it.
correct.
That's right.
Why?
I'll gladly answer that question.
Go right ahead.
Because we, as part of this whole program, we pledged, all three of us, that we would not allow money to be the sole determining factor in this decision, and that it was our goal to find the best possible, the best suited, the best match for our community, and we were willing actually to leave $2 million on the table in order to accomplish that.
Now, how many bids did you get? And I couldn't really hear too good. in the back.
9.
9. And I, as a member of the general public, I will be told who those bidders were and the amount of their bids.
That's all available.
That'll be available.
Yep.
You have a list.
I'll stop tomorrow. Okay? And Complete Healthcare, that was the winning firm, correct? And where are they based out of?
Dresher, Pennsylvania.
Drescher.
Where?
Dresher, Pennsylvania.
Eastern Pennsylvania somewhere.
Dresher.
Where?
It's near Willow Grove, their base.
Yeah, that's what I said, Eastern Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
okay. Second, Joellen, as probably I'm the only person in this room who's been here from day one, well, for the last 10 years at every meeting, but on the sale of Cedar
Not
Haven-
every.
Huh?
Not every.
Well, I don't miss many.
Okay.
I do have other things to do. But being here, And ever since Ames opened his mouth the first time about selling Cedar Haven, and now you just went on, your speech was great, but as you know, I've been on your side from day one. And I will back you up, and I will say for myself and most of the citizens of this county, Ames and Phillips weren't born and raised in here, in this county. You and I were. And if you knew the history of Cedar Haven and how it came about and why it came about, then it wouldn't have been sold. And you and I both know that, but they don't know the history. My family's been in this valley for 200 years. I just wanted to get that in, and also say something else. I hope I live long enough, Ames and Phillips, to see this come back to haunt both of you. Because to me, and I know the history of Lebanon County, all the nasty stuff, this sale of Cedar Haven is going to take its place right up there with the murder of a poor little 14-year-old girl in 1968 by the name of Peggy Reaver.
Martin, that's
No, I'm going to say it. And also the theft of $823,000 out of the EIT Bureau. This will take its place right there in the history of Lebanon County. That's what I want to say. Go on your meeting.
The plan is to put in a little over $2 million in looking at each resident room. One of the things that we noticed and we discussed with Ed Schlegel when we originally toured was that they hadn't been able to replace the individual furnishings in the rooms. We looked at those kind of things, refurbishing the common areas, looking at flooring and updating it, and those kind of things. We're looking at trying to develop within the facility more of a short stay rehab suite, which is the way of the future for long-term care, and you need to have all the components. Basically, that's the kind of planning we're looking at. There weren't any real major structural needs at that point. But the plan we have is really stretching out over 5 to 6 years. But initially, I think we're going to see a good bit of work on just the redecorating and the resident furniture, things like that, in the first year.
To be clear, there's a lot of land around the facility. Is that included in?
There was some land in that, yes, and we had discussed that we don't piece that off. Historically with our facilities, what we've used ground for, what we've had it is to expand like a personal care, independent living, to put a campus on. We've never, taken that ground and sold it to a gas station or something like that. We want to retain that as part of the campus. That's a beautiful part of what Cedar Haven is.
Will you be naming the other finalists? Search.
I can if you like, since it will be public record, John. Centers for Specialty Care, LLC, out of New York, had bid $25 million, and Comprehensive Health Care out of New York had also bid $27 million.